Let's watch this viral video.
My name is Alice. I'm from Beit Jala, Wadi al-Makhrur.
Wadi al-Makhrur. Very interesting that she can barely pronounce it. That's because she arrived in Israel 2 years ago. Al-Makhrur is a made-up name. It didn't exist until 2 years ago. The name of the area in which she is doing this interview is Nahal Chelet. It's been that name for over 2,000 years. Al-Makhrur doesn't appear anywhere because it was just invented.
Wadi al-Makhrur, it's known as agricultural area, and it's a UNESCO heritage site.
UNESCO heritage site, very interesting. The state of Palestine, which doesn't exist, applied for protected status, which was granted, of course, by UNESCO, in Batir for the terraced farming of the Palestinian Authority village of Batir, which is nearby. But the entire valley is now somehow or other part of some made-up heritage site in a made-up country called Palestine. Let's go.
Basically, we had a demolition more than one time.
Interesting. They had the demolition more than one time, she says. Well, that's certainly true because they violated demolition orders and no construction orders and interim orders over the course of 10 years in Israel's courts.
For the house and the restaurant.
Interesting that they built, if this is a protected heritage site, that they built a house and a restaurant in the middle of a protected heritage site. Strange.
Actually, for more than 20 times.
More than 20 times. And why do you think that that's something you should be proud of, that you violated court orders and acted in the court's words? Here's the court decision, the Supreme Court decision, in shocking lack of good faith and violation of no construction orders and work stop orders.
And each time we rebuilt, there were no any problems about the ownership of the land.
No problems about the ownership. They went to court about ownership. They lost. They lost in the municipal court, and they lost in the Supreme Court. They don't own the land.
In 2017, Himenotta, which is the daughter of the GNF, claimed that this is their land.
They didn't claim, they proved. They brought the documents and land registry and purchase records and rental records for the grandfather from whom these people claim to have inherited ownership. He never had ownership either. He had rental rights for a certain period of time, which are not rights that you can inherit. He applied for rental of this territory and was allowed to farm for a short time, a specified time, on this land.
So we went to the court, and then at the court we finished in 2023. They didn't prove that this is their land.
They didn't prove that this is their land. Her family didn't prove that this is their land because it's not. It's privately owned by Himnuta. This document that they're showing here, this huge poster that they've made, is a lovely piece of documentation. Interesting, it's a civil administration document, and the civil administration are the ones who demolished over 20 times their illegal structures. What this document is a ma'aliyah. A ma'aliyah, it's a tax authority agreement. It says at the very top, this document proves nothing in terms of ownership of property. What it proves is that you were allowed to use a piece of property as a renting farmer and pay taxes on the produce of that property. This ma'aliyah here doesn't necessarily refer to the specific piece of land that they're talking about, nor does it, they've blacked out all the dates, so fascinating. But even if it were for the right piece of property, it says on the document that it has absolutely no bearing on ownership rights. So let's summarize. So far, she's lied about who she is, about where she is, and about what the status of the land is, about who owns it, and about what permission there was to build the structures that were demolished. So I don't think I have to watch the rest of this movie to know just how ridiculous it's going to get. We have 10 years of documentation from courts where it was proven over and over and over again that this is not their land, and even if it were their land, this would give them absolutely no permission to build without building permits, which they never claimed to have had, which they never claimed that they applied for before they began construction. They eventually applied for building permits after the illegal structures were already under demolition orders and under orders for no construction. So what you have here is lies upon lies. Somehow or other, they have managed also to jump on the bandwagon of the settler violence narrative. There's no settlers involved here. There's no violence involved here. What there is here is people who are trying to take land that belongs to someone else and build on it in order to create a foothold for the Palestinian Authority in Area C.